Bears fans, this is one of those moments where the rest of the league thinks nothing is happening, and they're wrong. There's a name floating just under the surface, a first-round monster build with ridiculous traits, stuck in the kind of early career storm that can either break a guy or turn him into a steal for the team that bets at the right time. And that name, for us, is Shamar Stewart. This is Bears News Fan Report. I'm here with you like always, one of you, and today I'm going to connect the dots on why this kid in Cincinnati is suddenly relevant to Chicago, what his profile really looks like beyond the highlights, how it ties into our pass rush plan, and whether it actually makes sense to go a little crazy and put him on the Bears' radar instead of just treating him as another AFC storyline. Stay with me until the end, because I'm not here to throw random trade machine fantasies at you. I'm here to show you how serious teams think when they see a rare body type, unstable situation, and a long-term need lining up on the same track. Let me set the stage quickly so we're on the same page. The Bears are no longer in the just survive Sundays era. This front office has already shown it's willing to be aggressive and intentional, paying Jalen Johnson, building around a legit CB1-CB2 combo, committing to Montez Sweat as a foundational edge, reshaping the defensive identity into something that can rush, cover, and finish games instead of hoping. The recent move for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was another signal. They're hunting for length, explosiveness, and upside on the edges without mortgaging the future every time. That tells you exactly where their head is. This team understands that if you want to matter in January, your defensive line can't be just solid. It has to scare people. Now drop Shamar Stewart into that context. First-round pick of the Bengals, prototype frame, around 6'5", 265, 270, long arms, real explosion. At Texas A&M, he came in as a blue-chip recruit, and even in a defense that didn't always unlock him statistically, he consistently flashed traits that make scouts lean forward. Heavy hands, burst, the ability to convert speed to power. Then you see the testing, a freak athletic profile that screams modern NFL edge. The kind of numbers that if you put them in a Bears front next to Sweat, you're suddenly talking about a duo that, off the bus, looks like a problem for any tackle in the league. Houston Chronicle, +1. Cincinnati took that swing early, and that matters. It means draft capital invested, pride attached, expectations sky high. It also means if the first stretch of his career is choppy, inconsistent usage, pressure but not sacks, rookie mistakes and contain, media heap, the narrative flips fast. Is he a bust? Did they reach? What's wrong with Stewart? You've seen this movie 100 times. High upside edge goes to a team that needs instant production, doesn't dominate early, and suddenly the noise is louder than the tape. And this is where I start thinking like a Bears guy, not just an NFL spectator. Because from our angle, Shamar Stewart is not just the Bengals' edge. He's a live case study in market timing. Short term, when we line up against him, he's a test and an opportunity. If the Bengals figure out how to unleash him opposite Trey Hendrickson or in their pressure looks, he's exactly the kind of explosive, long rusher that can force a young Bears offense into mistakes if you don't have your protections dialed in. That means Theo Benedette, Braxton Jones, your tight ends and backs and protection. Everybody has to treat him like more than a name. The kid's traits are real, and if you let a talent like that get right against you, that's on you. You respect what he can become, you punish what he still isn't. You hit him with misdirection, you run at his chest, you make him think instead of just fly upfield, you use cadence and formation to stress his eyes. You treat him as a serious piece, because that's how serious teams play emerging talents. But the real twist, and this is where I'm going loco on purpose, is long-term. If Shamar Stewart's arc in Cincinnati stays bumpy, that is the exact profile of player I want this Bears front office monitoring. Not tomorrow, not as a forced headline move, but as a calculated, opportunistic strike if the situation ever cracks. Why? Because of three simple pillars. First, traits over panic. You cannot teach that frame and movement. The Bears have already shown they're willing to invest real assets when they believe in a defensive front piece. See Sweat. If you get a chance down the line to buy low, and I mean buy low, not bail out another team's mistake at full sticker price on a first-round edge with elite athletic testing whose main issue is development and role, that's where you trust your building. You put him with the staff that demands effort, teaches rush plans, and has veterans who lead by example. You let him grow across from Sweat instead of having to be the savior from day one. Second, timeline fit. Stewart is at the age and contract point that syncs with what Chicago is trying to build. Young core on defense, franchise QB on offense, ascending roster. If you ever went after him, you'd be betting on his prime overlapping with your competitive window, not hanging another aging name on the wall. That's exactly how you avoid becoming the team that only knows how to sign guys 2 years too late. Third, identity. This locker room under the current regime is finally building the right edge. Tough, accountable, no tourist energy. To even consider bringing in a project with hype, you need a room strong enough to absorb the noise and force the kid to buy into work. The Bears didn't always have that. Now, with guys like Sweat and Johnson and others setting the standard, it's a different conversation. If Stewart ever arrived here, he wouldn't be the brand, he'd be the student. Does that mean the Bears are chasing him right now? No. I'm not going to sit here and fake a source's graphic to farm views. As of this moment, he's a Bengals investment, period. But the reason I'm putting his name in your head on this channel is because this is precisely how smart front offices and smart fan bases stay ahead. They identify the rare physical profiles who might shake loose if their first team mishandles the curve. You don't overreact. You remember the name. You track the snaps. You file it under call if they're dumb. From the Bengals side, there's also tension that makes his situation worth following. First-round status, early contract conversations, expectations to replace high-end pass rush at some point. When those ingredients mix with a market that never sleeps, cracks can form. We saw the minicamp drama. We've seen rookies around the league bristle when their role or deal doesn't match their draft slot. If that relationship ever goes sideways, a team like Chicago, with a clear need for multiple high-level edges and a culture built to challenge and support a kid like that, should absolutely be in line to ask the question. Reuters, +1. In the meantime, there is direct on-field relevance. When we prep for Cincinnati, Shamar Stewart is one of those swing factor players I circle. If he stays quiet, it's usually because your tackles play with discipline, your QB is resetting the pocket, your OC is dictating. If he suddenly shows up with pressures, batted balls, hits, it's a sign you've let a raw talent wake up at your expense. And that, for a Bears team with playoff expectations, is not acceptable. Part of respecting your own standard is not letting other teams' question marks turn into your problems. Let me be clear, I'm optimistic about where this Bears team is going. For the first time in a long time, the moves on the defensive line make football sense. You've got Sweat as a cornerstone. You've got a front office that didn't sit on its hands at the deadline. You've got a chance to keep stacking waves of rush instead of praying one guy wins 60 snaps. Thinking boldly on a player like Stewart isn't about desperation. It's about recognizing that if you want a top 5 defense, you sometimes have to be the team that believes it can fix what others couldn't. Now, I want you in this with me because this channel isn't built for casuals who read the headline and bounce. Knowing everything you know about our pass rush, our identity, and our window, how would you feel about the Bears going after a player like Shamar Stewart down the line if his situation in Cincinnati ever got rocky? Do you love the idea of betting on elite traits and trusting our culture and coaches to bring it out? Or would you rather stick strictly to proven veterans and draft your own every time? When you look at the way we've reshaped this roster, does targeting a high upside edge like that fit the plan? Or does it feel like too much risk for a team on the rise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Break it down like somebody who watches the trenches, not just fantasy stats. My final read, in clear professional terms, right now, Shamar Stewart is a Bengals asset, not a Bears negotiation. But he is exactly the kind of player Chicago should have on its long-range radar. Elite athletic profile, premium position, early career volatility, that combination can either turn into a headache for somebody else or a home run for the team that times it right.
Make sure you're subscribed to Bears News Fan Report, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next update, drop a like to push this into more Bears fans' feeds, and share it with that friend who loves defensive line talk as much as touchdowns. We're going to keep talking ball like this straight to you all season.